Hi guys, welcome to Healthy Living with Nosmo, the channel where health finally makes sense. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who has been watching my videos, liking, commenting, subscribing, and reposting. Thank you for your time. I really do appreciate. Keep sharing, keep liking, keep subscribing, and keep watching. Let's get into the condition for this week. The condition that we're going to talk about this week is called epilepsy. Okay, it's called epilepsy. And this is just the first part of epilepsy. Next week, I will be talking more in depth about epilepsy. But this week, we want to compare the myth versus the facts. And what are the myths and what are the facts of epilepsy? Okay, and next week, we'll be looking into the main facts of epilepsy. Now, there are different myths surrounding epilepsy. Some cultures, tribes, and communities have wrongly labeled epilepsy. Okay, they believe that the seizures are an attack, a spiritual attack, and that they are contagious. So when a person has a seizure or an epileptic attack, they say don't touch the person because you can contact it. They say don't touch the saliva, leave the person alone. They run away from the person during a seizure, and they do not share food. And so these people are discriminated within the society. Okay, and these beliefs often lead to discrimination, isolation, and even delayed treatment in some part of the world, and it's still happening till today. Epilepsy in some communities, such as the Yoruba community, is called warapa. It's called what? Warapa. And traditionally, it has been surrounded by fear, stigma, and also spiritual phenomenon. Okay, and spiritual interpretations. And so we want to look into some of the myths and these facts. Okay, the facts are what is real about epilepsy. The myth is what the society thinks. The myth is how the society treats the people with epilepsy. According to WHO, the stigma and discrimination and all these myths remain a major global problem when it comes to epilepsy. Now let's look into the myth. Myth number one: epilepsy is caused by witchcraft or demons. And that is real. It might sound funny to you, but it is real. Now, what is the fact? The myth is epilepsy is caused by witchcraft or demons, right? However, the fact is epilepsy is a medical condition affecting the brain. Okay, seizures happen because of sudden abnormal activity in the brain, abnormal electrical activity in the brain. Myth number two is epilepsy is contagious. No, epilepsy is not contagious. Now let's talk about the fact of myth number two. Myth number two, epilepsy is contagious. The fact number two is epilepsy cannot be spread from one person to another, whether by touching them, by saliva, by food, in any way. Okay, it clearly, and WHO, World Health Organization, clearly states that epilepsy is not contagious. I myself have touched a patient who has a seizure attack, epileptic seizures. It is not contagious. Now let's move to myth number three. Myth number three: people with epilepsy cannot live normal lives. Now, what is the fact behind this myth? Many people with epilepsy go to school and they have normal lives. Okay, they raise families, they get married, they have children, they are doing great in their career, right? They are successful professionally. Okay, and about 70% of people with epilepsy could become seizure free. Okay, with the proper diagnosis and treatment. Myth number four: you should force a spoon or object into the person's mouth when they're having a seizure attack. No. What is the fact behind this myth? This is dangerous and can break the teeth or injure the person. Okay, so it's very important that when the person is having a seizure, you want to turn them to the side. You want to take away anything that can cause any injury around them. Okay, you want to layer them and pad them up. Okay, and pad their surroundings up. Okay, community discussions online and epilepsy advocates repeatedly warns against putting objects in someone's mouth during a seizure. Okay, so putting something in their mouth during a seizure is a no-no. That is dangerous and that can cause other problems as well. Now, the better way to address it when a person is having a seizure is, number one, like I said, move harmful objects away. Number two, turn the person gently to their side. Okay, time the seizure. Time is of an essence. Every time I have a patient who has a seizure, I time it to know how long it was. I want to know what type of seizure that they're having, right? Do not hold them down. There's no need to hold them down. It is not a spiritual attack. You do not need to hold them down. They do not need an exorcism, okay? Seek emergency help if the seizure lasts more than 5 minutes. Seek emergency help if the seizures last more than 5 minutes. Myth number 5. All seizures look the same. No. Now, what's the facts behind this? The fact is that not all seizures involve falling down and shaking. Some seizures are just blank staring. Okay, some seizures involve just staring, confusion, unusual movements, okay, or brief loss of awareness. That's what some seizures are, okay. So not all seizures would you see the person falling on the floor, shaking, or some foam coming out of their mouth. No. The seizures are different, but you just have to know the different signs to look out for when the person is having a seizure. Okay. Myth number 6. Flashing lights could cause seizures in everyone with epilepsy. Flashing lights can cause seizures with everyone who has epilepsy. What is the fact behind this? Well, not everyone that has an epileptic that has epilepsy would have a seizure with a flashing light. Myth number 7. Epilepsy means mental illness or insanity. I had a patient I was speaking to last week, and I asked her, in general, what would you say your mental health is? What would you rate your mental health? And she said, does that mean that I'm crazy? Does that mean that I have a mental illness? I said, no, ma'am. I want to know the state of your mind. Okay, again, today you might be happy, tomorrow you might not. Today you might be feeling a bit, moody. That is the state of the mind. That is your mental health. Mental health is not being crazy. It doesn't mean that something is wrong with you. We just want to know what's going on in your mind. Now, epilepsy means mental illness or insanity. That's myth number 7, right? Now, what is the fact behind this? Epilepsy is a neurological condition, okay? It is not madness, and like I said, it's an abnormal electrical activity in the brain cells, okay? And that's what's happening. And when that abnormal electrical activity happens, that's when that seizure occurs. Again, the seizure does not necessarily mean that the person falls on the floor, they're shaking. It could just be staring, okay, confusion, any other thing. All right. However, people with epilepsy may experience anxiety or depression, again, from the stigma, from the discrimination, and from just thinking what's going to happen next. If I step out, am I going to have an epileptic attack? Am I going to have a seizure? From just that stress, okay, and the stigma. So the stigma itself causes more of the seizures than the condition itself. Like I said, so many communities and so many communities in low-income countries, many tribes and they till today still think that epilepsy is contagious. Okay, they still think epilepsy is contagious. They still have their notions about it. Health professionals are working hard. WHO is working hard to make sure that this mindset changes, to educate people and educate communities so that we can diagnose early and we can treat this early enough, right? Okay, and people can manage their symptoms and manage these conditions properly. Again, I want us to watch this video that I'll be putting up here. Okay.
Indeed, the burden of epilepsy is enormous, and it's indeed one of the most severe and disabling neurological disease. But it could be efficiently treated. And indeed, we have a number of new medications, we have a number of new techniques, we have epilepsy surgery, we have other technologies. But at the population level, if needed, if there is a limited country or the area with limited resources, quite efficient care can be provided in terms of medication with absolutely low cost, up to $5 per year. That's definitely not the ideal way of treating epilepsy. However, essential medications are not expensive, and in fact treatment is absolutely affordable for any country, for any state, for any area.
If you like this video, if you enjoyed watching this video, please like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notifications, share this with someone that you know. Please repost. Let's create awareness about epilepsy. Let's stop the stigma. Let's stop the discrimination. Let's change this myth, okay? And let's educate people on the facts, okay? And we'll talk more about the facts next week. Thank you.